Coming up on this episode of the Weekend Warm-Up, we'll hear from Neil Mellor and Chris Browne on what it feels like to score in enemy territory. We go down under to speak to Super Mickey Conroy about that FA Cup game back in 1994. And the captain joins us in the studio to reflect on 300 and also to look ahead to the big game this weekend. It's a derby special for the Weekend Warm-Up. Absolutely. Are you ready? We're all ready. I think we're ready. We're not nervous. We might be a little bit nervous. We're a lot nervous, actually. Feeling sick? Are you feeling sick? Are we all calm? Are we all like little Fonzarellis? What's the Fonzarelli like? Cool. Okay, honey bunny, let's go. Let's get into it, and let's start with Chris Browne and Neil Mellor talking about those goals, but starting with who is wearing whose shirt.
Here he is. We are recording. This is live on Channel 4. Please do not swear. I'm Davina. I'm just pretending to be Davina. Look, he looks worried now.
Here he is.
You're not finding your shirt, Brownie?
Wow.
Wow. Are you getting ready for your school photo?
Hey, we're turning it round on me, are we now? I've put the right dress code on tonight.
It's a lovely backdrop. Lovely backdrop, Neil.
It is a lovely backdrop.
Safe a little bit like me, isn't it?
What top have you got on there?
You've got the one. I've got the championship.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Yeah, you need to tilt the screen. We can't see the badge, man.
There's it. Oh, it's the Diodora.
Yeah.
Nice.
Enterprise.
Yeah.
Bit snug on the old arms these days.
I bet it's a bit snug, a bit lower down as well.
I thought it was.
Turn around.
Well, it was a large, but it's more of a medium, I think.
Turn around.
I've got much space here, Krabs.
Well, that's all. The old 33. 33.
There we go. So I've had an effort, Anna. Cheers, Brownie.
Go on, Christopher.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
This was the better kit, by the way. You know who his favourite is, Mellors, don't you?
Hey?
You know who his favourite is?
Who, Grabbers?
Yeah. I've got a Grezza one somewhere.
Let's have a look. Who's on the back? What is it? Brown on the back?
Of course it is.
Dear me.
Chrissy Brune. Bodza. So, hello, Christopher.
Hi.
Hello, Neil.
Grabbers.
It's we're obviously, this is the eve of the big match and a scene of either of both of your favourite Preston North End matches.
Up there.
What would you compare it with?
Charlton away for me.
Of course, yeah. That was
Great
a
goal.
big moment for you, that one, wasn't it?
That was a good goal.
And what about you, Mels?
No, the best. Without doubt, it's the best. Yeah. Burnley away was a good one. Enjoyed that one. But I think Blackpool just tipped it. I think it was because when we played, everyone was talking about we haven't won there for ages. And I remember playing in a game when we got beat by Blackpool at home, and I was fuming by that. So it was nice to get a big win over them.
I didn't realise how big a game it was, really. You know, I know it was a derby game, but I didn't realise until we turned up at the ground and got out in the warm-up, and I thought, oof.
Different mood.
Different, bit spicy, this.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I remembered it from being beaten at home, and I was like, not having that. So I wanted to sort of be on the right end of it.
It's interesting, you know, I'm looking back over the results sort of just before then and since then as well. And we haven't lost there this millennium.
It's a great start. Love it. Love it.
Simon Crabtree stat. I've ever seen one.
You've got to stretch it, but that is. So when the build up to this game, I mean, I think Brownie, you'd just come back the match before, hadn't you? Against
Norwich, was it?
Had you played at Norwich for Norwich before then? Was Norwich your former team at that point?
Yeah.
And you had just come back a decent result, so you're full of in a way, I suppose, North End beating Coventry this week. You know, what was the mood like? Can you remember? You can't remember what you did yesterday, so I'll ask Mels.
Do you know what, Crabbers? I was buzzing because I'd got a goal of the season contender at Norwich. And then when it came to the awards at the end of the season, it wasn't even in the top 10 goals. I was like, someone forgot to put that one in. It was about 25 yards out. I put it in the top bin. Last minute equaliser at Norwich. I was buzzing. Might have even come on off the bench, to be honest. I can't remember if I started that game. But I think going into the game at Blackpool, it was a case of, it was on the Sunday. I think we're all a little bit giddy thinking, do you know what, if we get the right result, we're going to go out as a team afterwards. So that was a big memory, preparation, thinking, lads, if we get it right, we're out after.
In terms of the day of the game, whether it be this derby or any derbies, do you remember much about the build-up? You know, because as fans, we all sort of maybe sleepless nights the night before, we get excited about it, and then the tension comes. And how was it for you two?
For me, and I think I preferred it this way. You know, when I said before about not realising how big a game it was, it meant that the occasion didn't get the better of us, because I think sometimes that happens. I don't know if you agree, Mel. There's a massive build-up. You're just so revved up before the game that sometimes it can affect your performance, like in a weird kind of way. But this, I just kind of went into it as if it was a normal game, not realising the extent of it, what it meant to the club and what it meant to the fans. And I think it benefited my performance. But I think, talking about our team performance, I think we played, even though we're 1-0 down, I think we played well. But what do you think, Miles?
I remember being buzzing because my brother and my best mate were coming to the game, and I'd got a text off them in the morning saying we'll make it, because they'd been out the night before, Saturday night, and they'd been steaming. I was thinking they ain't going to make the game, because it was an early kickoff, wasn't it? It was 12, 1 o'clock, whatever it was on the Sunday. I was thinking, they're not going to make it. So I was a little bit down, because to me, playing, I wanted that support there. My dad wasn't going to make it in the away end, but I got my brother and my best mate a ticket, so I was buzzing for them to be there. And because I was starting, I must have been told I was starting before the game. Can't remember. And obviously buzzing to try and make an impact. I remember the pitch was awful. I remember it was windy. It was horrible. And like you say, at half time, you're thinking, how are we getting beat to these? Because we weren't playing that bad.
Do you want to watch it? Do you want to watch the highlights?
Have you got my disallowed goal? I want to see me disallowed goal.
Shall we share the highlights? Well, hang on then.
Preston harrying Blackpool early on here, closing them down when they're on the ball, forcing them to go long. Headed down to Gow. That's a clever ball forward. Here's Hamill, who shoots. It's an opening goal for Blackpool.
I think Lanners has got to do better, hasn't he, there?
Listen, what are you thinking there when that goes in?
He's got to save it. He's got to save it.
It was like ridiculously early, wasn't it?
10 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, I think
all you're thinking is anger towards Lanners. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Thinking Lanners, get a hand to that, surely.
Right, come on, let's play on.
Gow is thwarted by Sean St. Ledger.
Wayne Browne.
Very did.
Yeah, he only played a handful, didn't he? If you're going to pick one, it might as well be this one.
Yeah.
Now Chris Brown, got to be careful, plays it out towards Wallace on the left-hand side. He takes a touch.
Score here.
Oh, lovely Roscoe.
And there's the goal!
That was off your nose.
Chris Brown.
How did you feel when that went in?
Just let the ball hit your forehead.
Find the equaliser.
Got a power on that, Chris.
And he is delighted with that strike. Simple as you like. Preston are back on level terms.
I took the defenders away for you. Have it at the near post.
Look at that. Nice. That's just before we go on, can you remember what was said at half time?
I was going to ask you the same thing, Miles.
Yeah, I think what was said between the lads was the night out is cancelled if we don't turn this round. They're not going out. There's no way we're going out if we don't turn this round.
Here we go then.
Good work. Beats Gary Taylor-Fletcher to the ball. And now here's Wallace. Pulling the strings for Preston and coming forward.
Get it to the left. Get it to the left. There we go.
Brown's in some space.
Here we go. Callum's on. Where's Callum? Give it to Callum.
On the edge of the penalty area. Preston building nicely. Callum Davidson. Crosses to the far post. Mellor!
Foul?
Neil Mellor scored!
Foul? Did you foul him?
Take the lead!
I think I just wanted it more, Grabbers. I think I just wanted it a little bit more than the defender. Hung up to the back post. There we go. Who wants it more? I'll have that, Everett. Not you.
Weak, wasn't he? Very weak.
It's his 7th goal this season.
He's got his hands all over my shirt. I had a vest underneath that.
You get in there. Pause that a second, Grabbers.
Play on. Here we go.
Goes on.
Oh, brilliant advantage.
Towards the penalty area, just too far ahead of Wallace, who pulls it back anyway.
Yes.
Browne!
Checking there that it was okay, were you?
Preston North End this afternoon. It's Chris Browne with his 2nd of the afternoon.
Nearly missed that, Brownie, or not?
I tell you what.
And it's
If
delight
you see there.
for the travelling Preston North End fans. And what a second half this is turning out to
Look
be.
around, I don't know where we're looking for.
Preston will get their
Just double check the
linesman,
linesman, was it gonna-
1992.
Just get a bit of a, because I know the bench would have been going mental.
Can I just remind you how you both felt at the full-time whistle?
I don't want to see this. Grabbers, I don't want to see it. It's
Hold the line,
embarrassing.
hold the line.
How do I press mute? How do I press mute on here?
I've seen it.
Are you ready for this? This is beautiful.
I needed a haircut.
Look at that. Can
I'm
you
happy with that.
look how
You
young
look all right.
you both look?
I think we both look good, Neil, to be honest.
I didn't say you look good. I said you look young.
Have you put a filter on it?
Oh, look at that. You both look really fresh face. I mean, Mel's has got the best hair in football. I say this to him on a regular basis, but here we go.
Gents, first of all, well done this afternoon. The Derby Day heroes. Come to you first, Chris. You must be delighted with a brace this afternoon.
Hang on a second. What's that? What is that? What are you holding up there?
It was a milkshake.
Kids,
It was a milkshake. it was us being professional before we actually had some proper drinks.
There was a double vodka in it, though.
Do you know what I've not even mentioned? When I scored, I jumped in the crowd, and it was the best booking I ever got in my career. Jumped in the crowd, and obviously it's a yellow card, isn't it, for that? And my brother and my best mate were actually there celebrating with me. So probably one of my favourite goal celebrations, that one.
Did you know where they were then, I take it?
Did you know exactly where they were and go to them, or was it just coincidence?
Because we had the whole away end, and I had no idea where they were. I hadn't seen where they were, and just sort of, right, I'm going in. I'm diving in at this point, and they made their way to me. So they were made up as well to share that moment with me.
Part 2 still to come of the chat with Neil Mellor and Chris Browne. And if the 2008 episode whetted your appetite, let me take you back to 1994. Do you remember? It was live on Sky. It was a little bit windy. It was packed. It was exciting. It was on the plastic. John Beck was the manager, and Super Mickey Conroy scored the winner. Well, we caught up with him. He took some tracking down, let me tell you. So the first 3 questions are: where is he? How is he? And what is Mickey Conroy doing now?
I'm now based in Melbourne, Australia. I've been here since 1999. How I ended up here was I met an Australian girl while I was in between leaving Burnley and joining Preston. I met an Australian girl in Lancashire, in Burnley. And after leaving Fulham and joining Blackpool, I had an opportunity to come out here and play for 2 years, which would have extended my career because I only had a year left at Blackpool. So I decided to take that opportunity. And unfortunately, after a year, the club that I came out to play for went bankrupt. So that basically finished off my football career.
So what are you doing these days? Obviously, the football career over, but you're doing
well.
well.
The football career is well and truly over. So I now work for the sports brand Mizuno, the Japanese brand. We do top-end golf clubs and we do top-end running shoes. So I've got a job in the warehouse in there. So it's, steady away.
You mentioned Burnley earlier.
So,
and obviously, you left Burnley to come to North End. So how do you look back at your time?
Burnley.
Car park.
At Burnley.
No, at Preston. Not bothered about Burnley.
How do I look back at my time at Preston? Actually, I was quite surprised, actually. I didn't realise that I averaged about, I think it was a goal every other game.
Well,
I think I
you made
scored.
50 league starts.
Played 40.
and you
I made
scored
40 odd
22 goals.
appearances. Yeah. So that wasn't bad, was it?
It's all right.
How many starts did you say? 40?
50
40?
league starts, all in all.
50 league starts.
Yeah.
And 22 goals.
22 goals. So that is pretty
Yeah.
much 1 in 2, isn't it?
Oh, that's pretty good. I would have thought, I was very disappointed not to go on at Wembley. We were losing to Wycombe Wanderers, and you think he's got to make a change. He's got to put the subs on just to try and get something. But to be fair, that week I was fighting with it was a groin injury I had. So at the end of the day, I was actually very pleased just to make the bench because, excuse me, I had a real bad groin problem leading up to the game. So I was really glad just to make the bench. It would have been nice to go on, but look, I suppose missing out and winning promotion was a disappointment. And with John Beck, you might think you're playing well, but you might not get, you might not have been selected to play. There was some games you think, what are you leaving me out for? Or, So yeah, it was a strange 2 years I had there. It was a good 2 years. As I say, we made it all the way to Wembley. But yeah, it was a good 2 years, but it was a strange 2 years as well.
Just in terms of your impact at North End, because on your full league debut against Shrewsbury, I mean, I remember North End absolutely battered them, but you got a hat-trick.
Correct. Yeah.
Couldn't have started much better for you, could it?
Oh, absolutely not. No. I mean, my dad was at the game as well, so that was very pleasing, that he went home to Glasgow with the match ball. That gave me a lot of pleasure. But yeah, you couldn't have asked for a better start to your career at a new club, especially coming from Burnley. Where that Lancashire rivalry is there, isn't it? It might not be the same Burnley Blackburn, but it's a Lancashire derby. So yeah, to get the hat-trick in the first game was, to get a hat-trick at any time is a great achievement, but to get it in your first game, and it was a very hot day that day, if I remember correctly. Well, it was a hot day. I know it was a hot day. And the heat doesn't agree with me when I was playing back then, I always struggled, but no, there were 3 good goals, and it was a great start to my Preston North End career.
You soon seemed to get a good relationship going with Tony Ellis as well. How did that work?
Well, I think we complemented each other quite well. Tony was a lot more skillful than I was. Where I was able to probably win more headers and and create more opportunities for Tony. But his ability to finish was phenomenal. He was a great finisher, absolutely a great finisher, and a good footballer. He was a good footballer. And I think if you've got a couple of strikers there who can bounce off each other, and I can work off his strengths and he can work off my strengths, and we got on, but everyone got on well together as well off the park. So that's important as well. That was important. So yeah, I always enjoyed playing with Tony. Good footballer, good footballing brain.
You mentioned that FA Cup game against the team from up the motorway there. It was live on Sky. I seem to remember it was a little bit blurry, but it's the derby this weekend as well. So we've all got one eye on that one. What are your memories from that FA Cup game back in 1994?
Well, again, I was coming back off, I think I had the flu or a heavy cold, and I'd missed a bit of training, And as I said to you earlier on, Simon, the beauty of playing under John Beck in one regard was that when the defenders got the ball, as a striker, I knew where they were going to put the ball. So you had even if it was half a yard start on the defenders, and to win 1-0, because it was early, I think it was early in the piece that the goal was scored. And to see the game out and win 1-0, it shows you how strong defensively we were. Because, they had Tony Ellis in the team as well, if you remember.
You missed the sitter.
And they were there. Yeah. So it was a typical local derby, hard fought, nothing in the game. We managed to get the one goal and we managed to see it through. Yeah, but I thought I was going to get clobbered by the goalkeeper. But, I thought I was going to walk away with broken teeth and all that, But as you say, the ball held up in the wind and it enabled me to get my head on the ball before the goalkeeper get anywhere near it. And then it was just a simple case of getting it over him and putting enough on the ball to get it into the net, because obviously the defenders were chasing you back. But it's funny, Simon, because the boys here at Mizuno in Australia here, they've heard about, so they're on you. Everybody who comes to the company always gets a look at my video, and it's the video of the Blackpool game. Honest to God. And it's no me, I don't show them it, it's the other lads say, oh, this is Super Mickey Conroy, we need to show you, we'll give you an induction and this is what you need to watch, so yeah, so it's a fond memory, to score a goal in a derby, doesn't get any better than that, does it? Especially a winning goal in an FA Cup side. Oh, fantastic. Honestly, that was fantastic. You miss that, you miss that, because I didn't get a chance to play in the Burnley Blackburn derby because we were in different leagues at the time. But to play for Preston against Blackpool, I had no idea. I had no idea of how hot it is, coming from Glasgow. I didn't realise there was a massive, what's the word I'm looking for? No, I'm not saying it's a hatred, but a dislike.
It's passionate.
Of Blackpool.
It's passionate.
And a dislike of Preston. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Absolutely. So, it's to score a goal, it's just fantastic. To score the winning goal in an FA Cup tie against your biggest rivals. I might never have scored another goal for Preston North End, Simon, but I would have been remembered for that goal forever.
We still talk about it. We do,
and it's lovely. Well, honestly, mate, I'm so humbled by the fact that people still talk about that game and that goal. Really, I find it hard to believe that I've managed to, it is humbling that people talk about you still today, 20, 25 years after the occasion, and it is very humbling to know that. For you to get in contact with me to do an interview over Zoom 25 years later down the line, it's very humbling, it's very humbling and very nice that people still talk about you.
There's one part of your career that we probably don't talk about too much. It's the elephant in the room, if you like. I will mention it before you go, because you went to Fulham after us, and a friend of mine speaks very highly about you, a guy called Dave Wallace, who does our stats where I work. He speaks very highly about your time at Fulham as well. So I've got to send his regards for that one. He says you were great at the time. However, you then went to So how difficult a decision was that, given that you'd played for Burnley beforehand and then us? I can tell this is going to be a sad tale.
You know what it was, Simon? I loved living in the northwest of England. I loved Lancashire. And I could go back to Lancashire tomorrow and live in Lancashire very easily. I still had a house in Burnley. I'd kept my house in Burnley, while I was at Preston. I still lived in Burnley. I moved to London, still had my house in Burnley. And if I wasn't as keen to get back into Lancashire as what I was, I would never have left Fulham. But I was so keen to get back up to the northwest because I loved the people up there. I loved living in Lancashire and Burnley. They were my type of people. They're football people. They're good football people. You know, your Preston North End supporters are passionate supporters. Your Burnley supporters are passionate supporters. The two clubs that I played for. I know Blackpool to a lesser extent, I would say. But certainly Preston and Burnley. And I was so keen to get back up there. It was just a case of, and that was it, basically. That was the reason why I joined Blackpool. And I regret it? Yeah, I do. Absolutely, yeah. I do. But you try and do things at the time which you think are right.
So just finally, we'll end on a brighter spot then, because obviously you're living in Australia now. Do you still follow North End? Do you keep your eye on the scores coming in?
Look, we don't get a lot of the Championship here in Melbourne. You know, it's not everything's the EPL, isn't it? You know, everything's the EPL. So I'd be telling you a lie if I said that I look out for the results every weekend. Because I don't look out for the results every weekend, but if the result comes up, I always always think back to, well, I played for Preston as well, you know, that type of thing. Burnley are more prevalent because they're obviously in the APL. But the years that I had in Lancashire were the best years of my life, my footballing career. You know, the best years of my life. They really were. I loved playing because coming from Glasgow, you know what it's like in Glasgow, I'm sure. To play for a club like Burnley, to play for a club like Preston, who have got great history, and to be able to go down in the history books of Burnley, and maybe, I don't know if the Blackpool goal will get me in the history books of Preston, but to have a goal average like I do at Preston North End, and it gives me great satisfaction that I represented a club with the history that Preston's got. I find myself very, very fortunate, Simon, that I played for two great clubs, you know, throughout the history of football in the north of England. Burnley and Preston are up there with the best of them. You know, so I've been very, very fortunate in my career that I've represented two top class clubs.
Yeah, clearly loved his time here at Preston North End, Mike Conroy, and Lancashire, as he said there. He's on Facebook if you want to try and find him down there in Australia. I genuinely know he would appreciate you getting in touch and sending him maybe any of your happy memories from his time, and maybe remind him once again about that goal in the FA Cup back in 1994. Who will score the winner for Preston North End this weekend? We'll hear from Daniel Johnson in just a moment in his first derby in a Preston North End shirt. But first of all, let's hear the words of wisdom from our head coach, Frankie McAvoy.
They are massive occasions, no matter what way you try and play it down. But the most important thing is we need cool and calm heads, and that the players go and play the game and try and no play the occasion. And if we can do that, then we should be fine, and I'm looking forward to it.
It would be a great moment for obviously myself, and just obviously, like you said, being there for how many years, and heard how many stories and how important this game is. So yeah, I think when we say take every game one game at a time, I think with this particular game, it's you literally got to put everything on the line, really. Bragging rights and everything else that comes with it. We've just got to go out there and just do what we do. If we can go out there and put that performance on like we did last night and on Saturday, I'm sure we'll have no issues.
It just shows you it's new for us all, apart from the supporters, because they'll know more about it than some of our players. But the most important thing is we'll prepare them as best as we can to go and try and win. And I know we've sold out the allocation, I think we could have sold it probably 5 times over, 6 times over, which is fantastic. So you know what it means. That tells you enough.
For many of the players that have been there for a few years now, you know, we know what it's like come Derby Day. So, but obviously this one's going to be very, you know, it's a very different Derby game because you know these are our close rivals. So, but yeah, we know what it's like to get ourselves up for Derby games, and yeah, we're all looking forward to it.
Now, if you're not lucky enough to have tickets for the match itself, the only place that you can watch it live will be at Deepdale this weekend. Tickets are just £5 each, and if you haven't got yours yet, get down to Deepdale. The ticket office opens at 10 o'clock, or you can buy your tickets online, mypne.com. And of course, you can listen to the full match commentary on iFollow PNE. And if this all hasn't got you in the mood for it yet, let's remind you about that wonderful win over high-flying Coventry City during the week.
It's Whiteman over the corner, sent into the middle now, and it's a header that's down, and it's saved by the goalkeeper. Playing the advantage here.
What a block, Jordan Story.
Was very impressive. Hamer's on the corner and tried to catch out Everson at the near post. He did well to claw it away. Browne, he's not running either side of him. He goes out towards Van den Berg. Browne continues his run and does well. Now he finds Daniel Johnston on his left foot through towards Earl. Cuts it inside and just wide from Josh Earl. Here's O'Hare. Darbo again. O'Hare brushes past one and another. And now Walker. He scores. Well, he looked a little uncertain, but in the end, it was an assured finish from Tyler Walker. It's Whiteman who is playing it forward. Story was the target again, but it was easily dealt with. Browne gets it back to Whiteman this time. A lovely first touch from him. The cross is just behind everyone, but Bauer's header is brilliant!
What a header that is.
A brilliant header from the big German. Well, they've got the crowd behind them now. It's with Whiteman knocking it out towards Rees. Sinclair waits in the middle. The cross goes deep, looking for Browne. Oh, just wide. There was a touch on it, so it's going to be a corner, but how did that not go in? Quickly taken free kick, and it's opened up to Rees, who's cut inside. This time, that is Emil Rees at his very, very best. An emphatic finish, and what a turnaround in this second half.
Because it's a special match this weekend, special guest in the studio. The skipper has joined us, fresh from your 300th match in a Preston North End shirt. But first question, because it's the big one this weekend, how's everybody? I'm rubbing my tummy because I'm obviously very excited about it. What's the atmosphere like here?
It's good. I think we needed that result on Wednesday going into this game because it was getting, towards a downward slope, and to get the win kind of boost the morale and get the atmosphere in the right way that it should be going into a big game like tomorrow.
What is your job as the captain at this point in terms of, do they need to be built up for this one? Because there's only a couple of players in the current squad that have actually experienced a derby game against them. So do you build them up? Do you calm them down somewhere in between? Do you need that sort of stuff as well? How is it?
I think it's just a reminder of how important the game is. As you said, there's not many that would have played in this kind of game, so there's a lot of new faces, probably aren't too familiar with the history of the clubs, and it's just getting them in the right mind frame and making sure they know what the game's about, how important it is, firstly to us, but to the fans and to the club as well, and just to make sure we go and get one over on them.
How are you feeling about it?
Excited. I've waited, I think, nearly 8 years for this. Just missed the first one, the last one, sorry. So this will be my first one, and yeah, I just can't wait. Can't wait to get into it.
Neither can we. I have to mention, of course, your 300th match. Only 27 players in this club's entire history have managed that. What does it mean to you?
Everything. You know, I've said recently that I don't really take a step back and, you know, look at how far I've come or take the time to, you know, pat myself on the back. But that was one of those things where, you know, I've come a long way, and it's a good milestone to reach. And as you said, there's not a lot of people who've reached that milestone for this club. So to be a part of that 300 club is obviously fantastic.
You're not too far behind Bill Shankly now, who's obviously got a stand named after him with his face on the seats. Maybe one day there can be an Alan Browne floodlight. I don't know. But it's as you've just alluded to there, it's some company, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, I just want to play as many games as I possibly can for this club. Be here for as long as I can, and hopefully add some more success to the club in the coming years.
And start with a win at the weekend, please.
Yeah, that obviously helped the situation, but no, 3 points is all that matters, and you know, I'm aware of that, and I'm going to make sure the boys are aware of that as well.
Good luck. I'm very excited. I don't think you need any more building up as well. I know how much this means to you, so just make sure you win.
Will do.
Thank you. Well, two players who do know how to win and play in this game are Neil Mellor and Chris Browne, who both scored those goals back in 2008. And let's remind us again about the build-up, how it feels to be in that game, how it feels to play in that game, and how it feels to celebrate afterwards.
So listen, going into this one then, what will the players be thinking, and what are you two thinking in terms of what might or might not happen this weekend?
I'll answer this one first, Brown, if you don't mind, because I was at the training ground last week and I saw you there, Crabbers, and I was speaking to a couple of the players, and it was a bit like Blackpool's coming up. I mean, I know Liverpool's coming up in the League Cup as well, but it was Blackpool. That's the game that they can make the name. I mean, Brown is saying there, people still talk about our game 13 years on, and it's nice, it's great, isn't it, that, you know, we do have those memories that we had a good time, and that's what these players can do when they play Blackpool. They can have a memory at Preston, no matter how good or bad they've been in the time at Preston, and they can be on a winning side that the fans will always be thankful for. That what could be a great occasion going to Blackpool and win.
There's going to be just going to be more on it, isn't there? Because they haven't played each other for that long. Blackpool have been through. Preston have gone through a bit of getting relegated, and
you're not on your own podcast now, son. We don't use like language like that here.
Apologies.
Honestly, wait till I tell your mother the language you've been using.
I can't believe it's took this long.
I can't believe it's took this long. How does it compare? You've both played in other derbies. You've both been as fans to other derbies as well. So be honest, how does it compare?
Well, I played in the Sunderland Newcastle one. And obviously being a Sunderland fan, I did know how much it meant to both sets of fans. But Preston fans just live for Blackpool away. Blackpool.
We don't live for them, just for the record.
No, but you know what I mean. The game. I remember speaking to fans, and I just beat the Lashes. That's all they used to want. That's what football's all about, isn't it?
I think with Derby days, and I don't know about you, Brownie, but it's like a different feel, a different atmosphere inside the stadium. Even when you come out for the warm up, it's like, this is different today. I got to experience Goodison away for Liverpool. It was like, not welcome here. And it's the same for Preston when they go to Blackpool, not welcome there. But as a player thinking, cool, there's a little bit more on this.
Yeah. I think even before Mel's, I was saying the other day, even when you go to the hotel or you go for your morning walk with the rest of the lads, it's just a different feeling in the air, isn't they? Do you agree? It's just a bit of topspin on the usual pre-match.
I used to hate them walks. Going for walks, just get me to the ground.
Used to be a little bit too long as well, weren't they? Probably half a mile too long.
At least half a mile too long.
3/4 of a mile.
Remember, I think it was the I don't know if it was the season after when Roscoe was late to Blackpool away.
That was when he scored.
Yeah.
He only lives 2 miles down the road.
And we met at the Marriott for pre-match. It must have been, say, 3:30. And then obviously travelled together for the game. And Roscoe was late. And I think if it was anybody, Ross was our best player probably. I think if it was anybody else, they'd have been left out. But because Ross couldn't do what he did in the game, he played, but he wasn't happy, Big Al, was he?
Do you know, do you know that game? I remember it. We drew at Blackpool. I remember last minute, the cross has come in from the right-hand side, and I've said to Chappie, over, it's mine. And he's took the shot on, he's not even overed it. If he overs it, I'm getting a goal there. So I'm still fuming with Chappie to this day. I know he's a manager now, but if he just overs that, that's another winning goal for me at Blackpool. So, yeah.
They obviously didn't shout loud enough, because that's what I said in the 3-1.
Over.
Me.
Yeah.
That's the man who commands the penalty area.
Still angry now. If he overs it, I'm tapping it in. 2-1. I'm off to the away end again.
Just finally, because the next game is Liverpool, and it has been talked about quite a lot. And I know, Mels, when you were there last week, everybody was pretty saying, yeah, you know, decent game, but obviously there was Coventry City first. The QPR game, was that before? Oh no, it was Derby first, wasn't it? Then it was the Coventry City game. Then this game, the Derby game, and then Liverpool. How do you stop thinking about that one and that one? I don't suppose you can. It's probably the perfect game to be before Liverpool, or the worst. I don't really know.
I think if you're a player, you're thinking, this is the biggest game, Blackpool. I know Liverpool, when it comes round, will feel even bigger, but it's all about Blackpool. Cannot be thinking about Liverpool before this Blackpool game, because, you know, as we've spoken, the rivalry is so big, it means so much. If you get a bad result going into that Liverpool game, it'll just dampen the whole mood. It'll deflate the whole football club, the fans, the atmosphere, and you want it to be a good occasion for the Liverpool game. And to do that, I think there's no better result than to get one against Blackpool, the big rivals.
And I think as well, so if you don't realise how big the derby is, and you think, I want to play against Liverpool, there's only one way to do that, and that's play well against on Saturday. You know, make an impression, stay in the team. Whatever your motivation is, isn't it?
There's enough players in that team and squad to make sure that everybody completely understands, though, isn't there? And in terms of what you were saying, Mels, in terms of social media, in terms of even getting to the ground and things, people should know enough about it, shouldn't they?
Well, when I was there, I was saying, Blackpool, make sure you win, Blackpool. And I was speaking to Van den Berg, on loan from Liverpool, and I was saying, you ready for Blackpool? He's like, yeah, I didn't realise how big the rivalry was. All the boys have been telling me. So in the dressing room, they're talking about that rivalry, which can only help the players.
So we had Kenner and Lonners. So that's where, you know, that the Preston lads, Kenner's been there obviously a lot of years. So it was them two really that I used to speak to about the game, and you could just tell how they felt about it. So it'll be the same today, with the local lads coming through and what have you.
What do we feel then? Just finally, last question then. What do we feel about this one?
Do you think Preston would take a point?
I don't want a point. I want 3.
I think Blackpool are a good. I think Blackpool are a good side, to be honest. I think won the last couple at home, got a good result at Reading. I think they're missing a key player in the goalkeeper. I think he's a key player for them, Maxwell, the way they like to play out from the back, which if Preston press high, may get a little bit of joy. I think this game, it's about taking chances, and I'm hoping Preston can do that. I will be listening on from Blackburn Rovers, believe it or not. I will be listening to Blackpool v Preston from Blackburn Rovers, and jumping up and down when Preston score.
Chris has scored more goals at Bloomfield Road than he has at Blackburn Rovers, and he played for them for a year and a half as well.
2 years.
2 years, was it 2?
I must say, Mel, you've come on leaps and bounds since that interview, haven't you? You spoke really well there.
You can have the last word, Christopher. What do we think?
2-1, away win.
That'll do for me.
Gone for it.
Love it.
Thank you, gents.
Come on, boys.
Have a quick turn round.
I'm still your favourite.
It's like a tanker moving around, isn't it?
Right, that's it for this episode. We're hoping to drop a special into your inbox ahead of the League Cup game next week. Please subscribe. Do you tick when you subscribe? You tick to like, push to subscribe. Whatever it is you do, it's down there or there or there or somewhere. Please do it. It does help us quite a lot on here. After speaking to Christopher Browne, to Neil Mellor, to Mickey Conroy, who is going to be the hero for Preston North End this weekend? Let's hope that it's a classic that we're talking about for years to come. And just for now, one more time, come on you Whites!